Hey, Gandy here with Gandy Grows, and I'm going to be talking about another type of fixture. This one in particular is from IQ Horticulture. This is an 820 watt LED top light. This is a common form factor. A lot of these types of fixtures, I mean, most fixtures are made in China now these days anyway, but I got my hands on this one, and this was first done by Gavita. The Philips form factor is similar. Both of those are a little more specific and nuance. This is definitely a production style fixture, but it's important to look at from a form factor standpoint. We've got, you can tell that the whole top of it is pretty much heat sink. It's just aluminum extruded and then cut. And I've been doing kind of a drainage look at all of the fixtures in this series, and actually, yeah, looks like you could get drainage off the back here if you were going to clean it. But these types of heat sinks are, potentially going to collect dust and material over time. So that's something to be mindful of when you're looking at fixtures for any type of facility, greenhouse or indoor. Now, this fixture being at the wattage it is, I wouldn't hang this any closer than 5 feet to the canopy. It's going to put out a lot of light. So you can find 600, 800, 1,000, and 1,200 watt top lights now. I think that the 800 plus or minus mark is the perfect replacement for a high pressure sodium in most situations. You can check out my other video about high pressure sodium versus LED and the heat on canopy. But as far as power and power to the canopy, I think that 800 watts is a really good replacement. One thing I would really want to talk about with this fixture is the components that are in it. If you're going to source directly from China, chances are you're going to end up getting third, fourth, or fifth tier components. That's diodes and or power supplies. And those are things that you just don't want to compromise on. So it's best to work with a trusted vendor. The spectrum on this fixture is solid, it's well-rounded, it's, kind of the formula that most higher visibility spectrum have settled on. I'll put it up here. It's got a good balance of red to blue, not too much red so you're not going to get photo bleaching, not too little blue to where you're going to get bad stretch. So on this fixture, there is an external control that goes from 300 to 500, 650, 820, and then an external control. This particular fixture has the RJ type connectors, so that would be wired into your building management system or your controller for remote control. All right, I'm going to turn this thing up and turn it on. So on a couple of other fixtures that we've looked at, this one also has what's called a secondary optic. These little bubbles on it that make for a 120 degree throw. So that's going to be 120 degrees, kind of pushing the light down at an angle. And if you go too tight with the angle, it's like the old Amazon LEDs where you get extremely high part readings on a meter but no canopy penetration, which I don't like the use of that term because it's not actually what's going on. You can't force light through anything. What we found is diffusion wide angle throw is the best. I do think that if you're going to put optics on an LED, 120 is kind of the sweet spot to get down into the plant canopy. However, I don't necessarily know the total benefit of it. These optics are a little funny in that they're all oblong and kind of egg-shaped, which I'll show in a close-up. And the Fos, Philips, and a few other, I'm not sure about the Gavita if they have. When it comes to rebates and incentives, every market and every power company or whoever's paying the check is different. They're looking at the total wattage reduction, or if you're doing new construction, they're just looking to offset the capital expenditure to go with LED over HPS. Going from 1100 watts for a 1000-watt fixture down to 800 or 820 is going to save about 30% of the total power draw, so that could draw significant incentives and rebates from the power company. Again, if the power company pays by the watt, then the 1200-watt fixture again could make more sense. So it's good to understand what your incentives and rebate potentials are before you either build new with LED or retrofit from HPS to LED. This is my rundown of the top light form factor that's really common in the market these days. If you have any questions or are interested in lighting, feel free for you to reach out and give me a shout with any questions. Thanks for watching. Over time, a lot of the fixtures are marketed and sold to have a 90% maintenance where they only lose 10% of their lighting output at 100,000 hours, when the reality is it could be much less than that. That would be 11 years on a 12-hour cycle. But you could see, and we have seen now in some first and second and even current generation of LED fixtures where the light is down to 50 to 60% from 100% in only 2 years. And the only way to really know that is to test the fixtures, and a lot of warranties don't even cover that. So be careful what you're sourcing, be careful what you're understanding from the salesperson, and then also document your usage of your fixtures over time, so that if you do have an issue, the first question is, how many hours have these fixtures been running? Make sure you can prove that. It's really important when determining a lighting strategy or transitional strategy from high pressure sodium to LED to make sure that you understand, the quality of the hardware that you're hanging up, the light degradation curve of the LED, and then also make sure that you're relamping your high pressure sodium on the proper intervals to make sure that you're getting the right production out of that product. When you're figuring out your lighting strategy, whether if you're going to be transitioning from HPS over to LED, building a new facility and just running LED, you need to understand the light output and degradation of the fixtures that you're purchasing, be it HPS or LED or a combination thereof. So what we're doing now is the Relamp and Relax program. If you need new high pressure sodium lamps, they're harder to source. So we can help you source them and recycle your old ones without ever missing a beat on your high pressure sodium. Make sure you're running the most sustainable program with HPS that you can. And also, if you have LEDs that have been running for a few years, we can take those in, test them, and provide a report to you to understand where your point of diminishing returns is and where you're going to need to relamp before you see it on the bottom line of your yield report. So if you have any questions about this or other lighting applications or CEA, controlled environmental ag in general, please feel free to reach out, and I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks for watching.